come in contact. Watch what happens when the ram comes down. As the ram comes down, this will start. When you let off, when your ram movement stops, this will stop. This switch here at the bottom is the bottom of your stroke, and that's there again, that's adjustable. And as you do different jobs, you'll learn where to set it. Watch what happens when we make the bottom of the stroke. It comes up and it stops. Take the ram back up. Now, you hit the foot switch, let this down, you can let it down at whatever intervals you want. One other thing we want to show you. Right here, this is your speed control for up. You have to synchronize the speed control with up where your limit switch is set. This is your speed control for down. You have an adjustable knob, you screw in, it slows it down, you screw it out, it makes it faster. Same way here. We can make this thing go up as slow as we want or come down as slow as we want. Cut a second. Controlling these two solenoids on this valve, you're controlling the flow and you're letting it know how fast you want it to go up and go down. Again, it's something you're going to have to learn as you set this machine up. You'll find that, okay, we need to set it here. More than likely, once you set the machine up and you get it running, you'll never have to change it. But you'll know how to do it just by changing the speeds here and here, and your limit switch settings over here. Again, I want to explain the importance of this setup here. This is limit switch is what starts the movement of the press brake work support. You don't want the press brake work support to move until the material is starting to bend. And you're best to keep the press brake work support coming up behind it. When you change these, you'll more than likely have to change the settings on the valve. So keep in mind that once you get them synchronized, learn how to get them synchronized for a particular job. You can put a mark on the side and say, okay, this is for job so-and-so. Or you can be like us here at the shop, and once we set it, it runs pretty much everything. But this limit switch here, again, should be making as the material is starting to bend. This limit switch here, when the ram stops, should click and stop the table from moving. Sure about this machine. As the machine sets here idle, in other words, let's say you bend apart and you decide to go to the bathroom, you decide to take lunch, you do whatever. If a certain amount of time elapses, this machine will automatically shut off. Approximately 3 minutes, it will automatically shut off. If the machine shuts off, all you have to do is go to the pendant, hit the start button, which starts the hydraulic unit again. The timer is adjustable, which we'll show you. This is the timer that sets how long before it shuts off. This is a 0 to 10 minute timer. Right now we've got it set at approximately 3 minutes. If you need to increase that time, you can go up to 10 minutes before it would shut back off. This particular machine is set up to a AccuPress. On the front of our AccuPress, we have mounting holes all across the bottom. And what we have done is we've made an adapter plate up, which you can see here on the inside, that physically bolts to the plate, and then the plate physically bolts to the front of the brake through the holes. Depending on the make of depending on the make of press you have, you'll have to make some type of an adapter up similar. You have adjustment legs here. It's slotted up and down on the machine for adjustment. One point I'll bring up, what I would do where I'm setting this machine up, I would set this machine up at its lowest point, your lowest die setting. Then, if you change dies out and you have different heights to contend with, rather than going to the trouble to adjust the machine up and down every time, I would have spacers made up to set on top of this machine. You can make them out of plastic, you can make them out of steel, you can make them out of whatever you want. But I would set this machine up to the lowest point, to the lowest die setting that you use, and then I would level it up, lock the casters in place with the jam nuts, and then let's say you change dies and the next die is an inch higher, I would figure out what I would use for a spacer to put on top of here.